Okay, so the social design exhibition, it's in the Design Museum of Zurich. It's called Museum für Gestaltung in German. And it's a very established museum, very old, a lot of history. And they've decided that they want to show this aspect of social design. And I also think it's quite important to do an exhibition like this right now in these times where politics are going crazy, and to show the people also that with design you can actually have an impact on society and the environment and the planet, basically. So the exhibition shows, I think, around 25 or 30 projects from all different sorts of social design, like even architecture and urban planning, product design, of course. I had the opportunity to create the visual communication for the exhibition. Yeah, it was a bit hard to find the right idea in the beginning because the spectrum of these projects is so big. So I thought, okay, in the end it comes down to the fact that no matter which project you choose from the exhibition, they are all related to society. So I decided, okay, I want to just show the exhibition title, which is called Social Design, together with the society. And you see a broad spectrum of the whole society. You see old people, young people, thin people, fat people, children, families, single persons, couples, and on the poster there are 382 people, I think, if I remember correctly. The year before I did the whole visual identity for Zurich Tourism, and that was probably my most important project so far because it's really big and it has a lot of impact also on the city. And I think that's when they realized, oh, okay, maybe it would be interesting to ask him to do one of the exhibitions. The concept of the museum is quite interesting because they work, for every exhibition, they work with a different graphic designer. Because they also want to support the contemporary graphic design. So I think it's quite good that they do that and support the local scene. So this is an invitation card, which is an adaptation of the poster. The curator of the exhibition, her wish was also to make like a positive communication for this exhibition, because social design wants to improve, so it's a positive thing. And to me and to many other people, I guess, the most positive energy is probably, or one of the most positive energies is the sun. So I try to use this bright yellow, which has a lot of intensity and gives a good positive impression, I guess. Yeah, that is usually a job that only big agencies do, that are more coming from the branding or marketing side. And it was quite special that they asked me from the graphic design side to do a project like this. So I put together a team with, I think we were 6 freelancers, like me and 6 freelancers. It's also quite intimidating in the beginning when you do such a big project, because as soon as you sign up for this project, it's gonna be some pressure on your shoulders, because it's gonna be published in all the newspapers, on radio, even on television, and people will complain about it or like it or hate it, or it's quite a political project. It's like maybe doing a logo for the Olympics or something like that. It's a bit comparable. All those projects that have high visibility, it's you don't want to screw it up. They didn't like their old corporate design anymore. It looked a bit old, I would say. This thing called content marketing, which is more about telling stories and not so much focused anymore on campaigns. That was the starting point. I wanted to have something quite simple, but also a bit sophisticated, or maybe even a bit playful, but something that will last for the next, let's hope it lasts 10 years, maybe even longer. So this project started actually before I started my own studio, because I was employed at some design agency. Then I decided, okay, I want to start my own business, but I wanted to have a break. So I took a break of 6 months and I traveled around in Asia. And there was one particular week in Laos, in the jungle, where I was stuck in the jungle in a little village, because there was really heavy monsoon rain. And I was getting a bit depressed because it was raining the whole time. So I was in my little bungalow and I was listening to a lot of music, just to keep myself a bit happy. And then I realized, okay, wait a minute, there are many songs that give you sort of an advice. Like, one of the most important ones, or most famous ones, is probably Don't Worry, Be Happy, or Always Look on the Bright Side of Life. And then, out of boredom, I started to look for more songs that give you an advice. And then I went through my whole library and I got like 200 songs maybe. And the good thing is, when you travel around, you meet a lot of other travelers. So I asked every other traveler I met, hey, can I look at your... That was still the time with iPods, no iPhones. So I asked them, hey, can I have a look at your iPod? I'm looking for specific songs. And so at the end of this 6 month trip, I had a list of, I guess, 600 songs. And it keeps growing, actually. Keeps still growing, and that was 8 years ago. And then back home I started my own studio, and in the beginning I didn't have much work because nobody knew that I'm having my own studio now and that I'm back. And then I decided, okay, I want to do something with this list, just to put together those songs. And when you go to Christian churches, you get these songbooks and are thick like this, and they have these rounded corners. So I tried to copy this kind of book in a bit with these more or less contemporary pop songs. It's alphabetically, you know. It starts with Accept Yourself is the first one. Yeah, then I looked for a publisher, which was actually not so easy. Then it got published 2012, and now this book is in its 7th or 8th print run, and I think 25,000 copies sold, which I never expected. People really connect to the content, you know, even if you don't like the design so much, maybe you like the idea of pop songs giving you some sort of advice. That one is the second one. Yeah.
Does it like published shortly after this one?
No, actually not, but the funny thing is that when I did this one, I already noticed almost every second song is about the topic of love.
Yeah.
Like everything that's so like connected somehow with love. And in this book you have a mix of all different topics. And then already when I did this one, I thought, oh, okay, if I do a second one, I could do one just about love, because there's so many advices about love, but also getting separated and all that stuff, and boys and girls and women and men. And I told the publisher, hey, I have an idea for the second one. We could do a second one, you know. And then in the beginning they were like, we're not so sure, you know, the first one is such a big success and it's hard to to do a second one that sells also so well, and then I kept writing them every year. And I think after 4 or 5 years, they finally said, okay, yeah, let's do a second
That's
one.
so long.
Yeah, sometimes it takes time, you know. And then the second one is really only about love advice, and it's also printed in pink, not in black, because I thought it can be a bit more different than the other one.